The Donald Trump era of international and global shell game has already begun. Let me explain in this breaking story. Because what a good con man does, aka the shell game, is to get your eyes confused and looking someplace else while they pick your pocket. And I'm saying this early on because this is what's going to slowly occur. But you already have governments and parliaments around this country arguing with one another on how to deal with and/or how friendly to be to Donald Trump.
Hello from New York, and just like that, the Don is back. Like with the Brexit vote, Trump was able to tie together his messaging on the economy and soaring migration, merge those two into one, and those are the two most important issues that voters list constantly as the top of their concerns. But like with the 2016 revolution in Britain and the 2019 election, the lesson for Britain for Donald Trump means winning over that coalition isn't just enough. He needs to represent his new realignment in office rather than just on the campaign trail.
I came into government here in 2007, committed to A9 dualling, and this Parliament took a decision which stopped me from spending £500 million on A9 dualling because the Conservatives, the Labour Party, the Liberals and the Greens forced me as a minister in a minority government to spend £500 million on the Edinburgh Tram project when this government had a commitment to spend it on A9 dualling.
So you were thinking of going to Scotland and playing some golf there, eh? Yeah, that. You got people in various places, but especially Scotland, who are now going to be debating how close we should be as a country to the man who is now in charge. And this is one of our neighbors, one of our friends. Scotland, the UK, is our first ally. And already, in this breaking story, you've got them going at each other and their throats, and it's exactly what Donald Trump wants. That's exactly the kind of disturbance and the kind of rhetoric that keeps you scrambling about, talking about personal alliances, as opposed to what matters. And all that matters to most is simply money. It's always about economics. That's why the old cliche of American elections, which in ways we just saw, is it's the economy, stupid. This is an example of it right here.
Yesterday, the First Minister offered congratulations to the convicted felon Donald Trump on his re-election. Writing officially on behalf of the Scottish Government, he wrote that he is sure Scotland's cultural and social ties with the US will flourish during the presidency of a misogynist, a climate denier, a fraudster, a conspiracy monger, a racist, a far-right politician who tried to overturn an election result both covertly and by inciting violence. Words fail me. What social and cultural ties does the First Minister really think will benefit from a relationship with such a man? And more importantly, what has the First Minister done so far to reach out to the marginalised and vulnerable people whose lives are most directly threatened by a second Trump term?
First Minister.
Presiding Officer, I have a duty as First Minister of Scotland to engage with other governments and to represent the people of Scotland in that process. And as part of that duty, I wrote the letter in question that Mr Harvey cites. I think there are deep cultural, social and economic ties between Scotland and the United States of America. I think they're important. They're important for employment in our economy.
Yes, Scotland has a slightly different setup in their parliament in terms of the way ministers are elected and then put in a form of hierarchy. That's why they have a thing called the First Minister. But the bottom line is that this is what Donald Trump wants. He wants constant disruption. That's why he uses the rhetoric he uses to get people talking about everything except for the damn point. So don't be surprised when you see more of this happening throughout NATO and happening across the globe in terms of leaders and governments struggling with, debating with each other, barking at each other over whether or not or how close they should be to the ties of the United States. And while I'm an advocate of questioning things, an advocate of searching for the right answer, the truth of the matter is this is going to be woven all the way throughout Donald Trump's presidency. While I promise you, as we already saw from 16 to 20, Donald Trump and his family members and all those around him will just be taking from the coffers, and the truth of how much they've taken and how much damage won't be known to any of us until it's all over, said, and done. Keep this in mind as you watch the world stage from whatever platform you watch it from, but including the stuff that comes out of this platform and my mouth. Hang in there. Have a good weekend.